So average speed. Now the speed of a body. Now when they say body, they mean any object, right? So the speed of an object is defined as its rate of change of distance with time. And the formula, so speed, S is equal to distance, D over time, right? We usually use kilometers per hour. Now, kilometers per hour, that's how it's pronounced. Does not have the H. Or you could say kilometers per hour. Basically, it's distance over time, right? So this is the units you will have, or we have miles or meters per second. Is the same thing, right? So the -1 is from laws of indices, where you can write any powers and negative powers are fractions, so meter per second is the same as writing it as a fraction. So this is like a fraction sign, right? So you don't need to know all of that, really. You just need to know the formula, right? So speed is distance over time. Now we can rearrange the formula to get any one. So if you want to find the distance, right, we'd multiply by time, we'll cross it out, you'll get D is speed by time. Or if you want to find time, right? So any number can be written as a fraction. You could use cross multiplication as well. So if you were to switch places, the time will come here and the distance over speed, right? So remember, this is average speed is equal to distance over time. This is the main formula, but you can get it to be anything with a little bit of algebra. So this is speed, this is distance, and this is time, right? So it's just a rearrange the formula however you want it. So example 1. A bullet takes 3 seconds to travel a distance of 1,200 meters. Calculate the average speed of the bullet. So we know the formula speed is distance over time. So the distance that they travel would have been 1,200 meters. And the time it takes is in seconds. 3 seconds. Right, so 1,200 divided by 3 is 400. Now remember, to get the units, we know that this is a distance, this is in meters, and this is in seconds. So your units will be meter per second, or you could say meter per second, right? So that's how you'll do that to get the units. Question 2, a car travels at a constant speed for 54 kilometers. This is a past paper question. Calculate the distance it travels in 2.5 hours. Now, if you watch, the distance is in hours, right? So 2.25 hours, sorry, is 2 hours and 15 minutes, or 2.25, right? So speed is distance over time. And again, they want us to find the distance. So we know that if we rearrange the formula, we'll get distance is speed by time. 54, sorry, that's not a 4. 54 multiplied by 2.25 because it's a quarter. Pull up the calculator here. 54 multiplied by 2.25 equal 121.5. Now this is in distance, right? And we have speed is, let's pull up question. So the speed is kilometers per hour. And we multiply by time, which is in hours. Now a little bit of mathematics will give us the units as kilometers, right? So the distance will be in kilometers. So part B of the same question says, calculate the time in seconds it takes to travel 315 meters given that 1 kilometer per hour is 5/18 meters per second. Now, again, we want to calculate time. So we know the formula is distance over time, and the formula can be rearranged to be distance over speed, right? Now, time, and I will be working in the kilometers per hour at first, right? Now, the distance we want to travel is 315 meters, which is in kilometers 0.315. Because to go from meters to kilometers, we're going to divide by 1,000, right? Because 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer. So we have to divide by 1,000 to go into kilometers. Right, so the distance is 0.315. The speed will still be the same because they give us that 54 kilometers per hour. Right, so we're gonna work it out. So 0.315 divided by 54 equal. I don't want it like that, so let me get my other calculator that I have here. 0.315 divided by 54. So the time will take 0.00583. And I want to multiply by 5/18. Right, so this is the time this will take in hours. We want to work it in seconds, but they gave us a ratio or formula. So we'll take this answer that we get and divide it by this amount. And when we work it out on the calculator, you get 21 seconds. Now, another way to work this out is if we knew that the speed is 54 kilometers per hour, we could convert it to meters per second by multiplying by 5/18, right? And we should get 54 by 5 divided by 18 is 15. So 15 meters per second. Now we could use the formula again, right? We want to find the time. The distance is 315 meters. Divide by 15, and you'll get time is 21 seconds. So that's the alternate way of doing it. And I think this way is the easier and faster way. Right? Number 3. The table below shows 2 readings taken from an aircraft's flight record. For the period of time between the 2 readings, calculate A, the distance traveled in kilometers, and B, the average speed of the aircraft in kilometers per hour. All right, so the difference in time and the difference in distance travel, right? So the amount of time you'll have to subtract. So 907 subtract 855. Now this is using it's like a clock, right? So you have to subtract in terms of time. 60 minutes is 1 hour. All right, so this will be hours, this is minutes. So 7 take away 2, 5 is 2. 0 cannot take away 5, so you'll borrow from the 9, this will be 8. And it's not 1 you're borrowing, but it'll be 60 minutes. So here will be 6. So 6 minus 5 is 1. All right, and 8 minus 8 is 0. So this is 12 minutes. Right? Like I wrote minutes. So this is 12 minutes. The time is 12 minutes. Now, then we have to find what's the distance traveled. Now the distance would be 1083 subtract 957. This is regular subtraction. Borrow 1 from the 8 to get 7. Be 13. 13 minus 7 is 6. 7 minus 5 is 2. Borrow 1 from the 1 because we have 1 here. So this is 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. So it's 126 kilometers. Now the problem with this here, it is in minutes. So minutes will be 12 over 60 in terms of hours, right? We could simplify that 1 over 5. 12 into 12, 1, 12 into 65. So which is 1/5 of an hour. Or in terms of decimals, 0.2 hours. So any one of these we could use to go further. Again, we know the formula to this. Speed, the average speed is distance over time. Right, so the distance traveled is 126 kilometers. So that's part A, the answer. Part B now, they want to know is the average speed. And the average distance is 126, and the time is 0.2 hours. So you have to use your calculator. 126 divided by 0.2, 630. And remember the units that we're working with, right? The units for distance in this case is kilometers. And the time is in hours, so it'll be kilometers per hour. km per h. Or km minus h. H to the negative 1, sorry. H to the negative 1. Okay, now 6. The following is an extract from a bus schedule. The bus begins its journey at Bellevue and travels to Sharpeville and ends its journey at St. Andrews. So they give us a table. This is a past paper question. They give us a table starting Bellevue. Didn't arrive, it left. So it left at 6:40 a.m. It arrived in Sharpeville at 7:35. 10 minutes later, or 7:45, it left Sharpeville and arrived at St. Andrews at 8 a.m. So this is all AMs. It's not PMs at all, so it'll be straightforward. How long did the bus spend at Sharpeville? So the time at Sharpeville is a subtract. So 7:45 minus 7:35, just 10 minutes, right? Remember, this is hours, this is minutes. Part B, how long did the bus take to travel from Bellevue to St. Andrews? Okay, so it arrived at 8 a.m. and it left or departed at 7:45. And we could subtract to get 15 minutes. So it took 15 minutes to reach. Part C, how long did the bus take to travel from Bellevue to Shadville? So from Bellevue, it left at 6:40 and it arrived at 7:35. So 7:35 minus 6:40. Let's have a little bit of working to do. Remember, when you borrow from the 7 in this case in the hours, right? It's really 6 you're borrowing. So 6 and 3 will be 9, right? So 3 minus 4, sorry, 9 minus 4 is 5. 6 minus 6 is 0. So it took 55 minutes. The bus traveled at an average speed of 54 kilometers an hour from Bellevue to Shadville. Calculate in kilometers the distance from Bellevue to Shadville. Now, from Bellevue to Shadville, it took 55 minutes. Now, remember, 55 minutes, and they give us the speed in hours, so we have to convert it to 55 over 60. We could simplify it, but we don't have to because we're using a calculator. So this will be 55 over 60 hours. The formula again is average speed is equal to distance over time. And we want to find the distance. So the formula will be rearranged to get distance is average speed multiplied by time. So the distance will be equal to the average speed, which is 54 kilometers per hour multiplied by 55 over 60. The distance in this case would be so 54 multiplied by 55 divided by 60. 49.5. And since it's a distance and the units that we are given is kilometers per hour, we know it is in kilometers.